Welcome back to Designsmith. In this video, we're going to be creating a minimalist design poster for the band Blushing. I saw them in Nashville a few nights ago. It's the second time that I've seen them, and just like before, they were amazing. If you ever get a chance to see them, definitely recommend it. While I was at the show, I saw this poster on the wall, and it gave me an idea of what to create for this. Before we get started, please subscribe to support the channel. Okay, so there's a different approach that I take when I'm creating a minimalist poster versus something like a Swiss or Bauhaus design. I definitely lay down some guides, but not the same way that I do with Swiss and Bauhaus. I'll show you exactly what I mean here. So let's bring up our guides, and now I'm just gonna drag some from the side here. I'm gonna go here to View, Guides, and Unlock Guides to make sure they're unlocked. And the size of this poster is 18 by 24. And usually for that size, I do about a 1.5 inch margin. Okay, so this is the guide setup that I personally use when I'm designing minimalist designs. Because even though minimalism is heavily influenced by Swiss design, it doesn't necessarily rely on a grid for positioning your elements. Remember, minimalist design is a lot more about simplicity than it is about structure. All right, so I have this idea in my head, and I'm just gonna kind of lay down a few shapes here. The graphics from this show were kind of like this lollipop or sucker design, but really I just want to get all of the elements down first, and then we can refine from that point. This new album that they have, which is a really excellent album by the way, has all of these really cool, vibrant, bubblegum type of colors going on. And so I definitely want to reflect that in this poster. And let's go ahead and create this lollipop here. And for sizing the elements, this is what I like to do. I figure out the size of the spacing in between these two guides right here. In this case, it's 15 inches. And I'm just going to divide that by 3. And what that does is it gives us plenty of margin around this object. And we also have to keep in mind that we're going to be adding other elements in this poster as well. And now I'm going to grab my rectangle tool. And I'm just going to go right here to the center. I'm going to hold down Option or Alt if you're on Windows and just draw out this element right here. And then we can take care of sizing it accurately after we've made the shape. So I think 6 inches wide is a good size. I'm going to make this 1.5 inches. And I'll change this color to maybe a slightly darker version of this blue. And then I'll lay down the stick for the sucker. And we'll increase the stroke to about 30 points there. All right, that's looking cool. I really like that blue against the pink there. So we've got just these 3 shapes right here that's making up the design of this sucker, and it's immediately recognizable. And that's definitely a key principle in minimalist design. Whatever you're making, you want the viewer to recognize it immediately. Okay, so now I'm going to select everything and then deselect that background. So that way we've only got the sucker here. I'm going to hit Command G to group the objects together. And I'm just going to vertically center this on the page. And I'm going to extend the height of this white stick here just to make it a nice rounded number. I think 8 inches is good. So now we'll reselect this and then center it on the page. So as you can see, we're using basic shapes to make up our graphic here, but we're not worrying about aligning it to a grid. So when it comes to laying down our text, we can really just kind of put it wherever we want. Okay, so we've got Blushing right here. And what I'd like to do is maybe make this in either yellow or red, definitely with no stroke on it. That yellow is going to get lost in that background. So I want like a nice candy type of red here. So we'll go all the way up to this point, and then we'll just kind of bring this over here slightly to bring up that vibrancy. And even in this font, it's working against that pink background. And I absolutely love this font right here. This is called BD Caramel, and you can find this on Adobe Fonts. And I think it works perfectly for this tour. All right, so I'm gonna go in here and kern this. The default spacing on that font was a little bit too tight. Just wanted to kind of open them up just a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to create outlines for that. And now I'm going to go up here and center this. And we'll adhere this to this guide right up here. And now for minimalist posters, what I like to do is hold down Shift and come right there to where the guides are. And then we can go in here and refine this. So it's going to be exactly 15 inches wide. Okay, and we'll add some text down here at the bottom. And because this header up here is so overpowering, we're probably going to need to move the sucker down. So let's type the concert information down here. And since we've got a good amount of information to put at the bottom here, I'm going to keep it as minimal as possible. So I'm just going to say with special guests. And then we need to create a couple of more spaces for some information here. This was June 16th, 2024. And we'll say Nashville, Tennessee. And right underneath Blushing, I want to put the Sugarcoat tour. All right, so we need to size this down a pretty good amount. All right, I like the sizing of this. I'm going to flip this kerning over here to optical and just let Illustrator handle that for the bottom. And then for this bottom color, I'd like to change it to purple. That's looking really nice. I'm going to move this right over here, and then I'll rearrange these items here. Then I'll kind of increase the with special guests here, and then I want to color this the same color as that purple down there. I think that works really well. And then up here for the top, I'd like to do a drop shadow, but I want to do a long drop shadow, so I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to hit copy and then paste in front, And I'm going to change this to this really bright yellow right here. And now I'm going to do copy and paste in front again. And then I'm going to move this down by hitting enter on my keyboard. And we're going to move it over 5 inches and down 10 inches. So now we're going to select both of these yellows right here. And I'm going to hit Command Option B, and that's going to blend those two together. So I'm going to go over here to my blend tool, double click on it, and change smooth color to specified steps. And now we're going to increase this to about 200. And now with all of that selected, I'm going to go up here to Object, Arrange, and Send to Back. And then I'm going to go back up to Arrange and then bring forward. So we've got that really cool long shadow there. And if we want, we can grab the bottom of that and move it however we want to. So I want it to go all the way down there. And here's another cool thing you can do. You can double click on this and then click on it one more time to select the bottom, and you can change the color and it'll change that blend. And I think what I'll do here is change it to this pink color. That's looking really nice. All right, this next part is going to be a little bit tricky because it's going to hide that red text there. So we're going to draw a shape over the entire poster, and now select this shape in our blend, and I'm going to create a clipping mask. And now I'm going to double click inside of here and lock the blend, and then double click again to select our red and go to Object, Arrange, and Bring to Front. And then we'll need to bring this sucker forward and then go in here and grab the Sugarcoat tour and bring that all the way to the front as well. All right, so now let's do a little bit of rearranging here. I'm going to bring this sucker down to about right there. We can actually arrange that perfectly, so let's do that. We're going to select all 3 of these and make sure that Align to Selection is selected, and go to Vertical Distribute Space. And it looks like we nailed it the first time, so we're good. I'm actually going to bring this up a little bit more. The spacing between that is good. And then we'll just do this again. There we go. It's getting a little bit too close to this line right here. It looks like we've got some waviness here on our blend, so let's go in and fix that. I'm going to go up here to Object and Unlock All. And now we'll double click inside here to get to our blend. Double click the blend again and bring that up to 800. And now we've got a much better diagonal line going on there. And here is our Blushing Sugarcoat Tour Minimalist poster for the concert that I saw at the 5 Spot in Nashville. I hope I taught you something in Illustrator today. Please like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.